Joining us this morning is Emily Altomare from the Oil Region Alliance. Good morning, Emily. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you too.
Well, we got a lot to catch up on, don't we?
We do. And there's a lot to talk about of new stuff too.
That's great.
So, where do you want to start?
Let's recap some of the projects you guys have been involved with.
Okay.
Or not, because that could probably take a couple years.
Hey, I've got my reindeer sweater on. I'm like diving full into the holidays. No, things are good. I think last time we were talking, we were just getting really into the thick of things as far as the Oil Region Visitor Guide. I am happy to announce that I have proofs back from the printer, and we are on time to get new guides in January. So that's always an exciting time when we can kind of share all those stories highlighting the region's history and heritage and all the events and arts and culture and outdoor recreation stuff that we have going on that makes the oil region such a great place to live and visit. So that's a good thing.
Well, and I know folks really, they get those dates and they mark it down sometimes a year ahead of time. They want to know when's the next Apple Fest, Autumn Leaf Festival, Oil City's Christmas Past or First Night. I mean, there's all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff that you kind of forget about. Yeah. So like stuff going on with the train and Drake Well and yeah.
And my understanding, just talking with those folks and having them on, it's been a tremendous season for the OC&T and Drake Well, and that's wonderful. Our museums are being used.
And I think it's funny because it's not just like compared to the last 2 years of pandemic. It's been a really great year overall. Yeah. Like tourism is up, visitation is up.
Well, what's the feedback? Do you get a lot of feedback, or is it kind of hard because you hear it from other organizations and they say to you, "Hey, this stuff's working. Marketing's been great."
Right. It's more that I'm hearing more from the other organizations about what's going on, but then, I'm not getting as much like through traffic. I'm not in an office where we sell tickets anymore. So, we're more likely to encounter if there's a complaint than praise. But we get a lot of tourists that are just passing through, people wanting to ride the bike trail and, coming in, or they're coming for a very specific reason to visit, like a grandparent's home that they never visited, but to see where it is, and they know it's in the oil region, and then they start to realize like, oh, it's not just their personal family history. There's all these other stories that they want to learn more about and kind of get in touch with. So then we start, it starts snowballing and getting them connected. But for instance, hearing about other entities and their success. Luke Kaufman at 2 Mile Run County Park yesterday, we were on a meeting. He said for their kind of inaugural Halloween events, they were expecting and planning for about 200 kids. This would be the Friday before Halloween, like the 21st, 22nd, something like that. They ended up having over 1,000 kids come to their event. Yeah. So, and it was like a Friday night trick or treat, haunted house, marshmallows, s'mores, hot cocoa for kids, popcorn, stuff like that. And they had so many people coming, and he said, thankfully, the volunteers did a great job of keeping the traffic under control, because that was their biggest issue. Like, where do you park that many people when you're not planning for it? And they were doing a trunk or treat. And then he said that a lot of the volunteers that were there to hand out candy had to send people into town to buy more candy so that they wouldn't run out.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they're planning to definitely do it again next year with the trunk or treat function part on the Friday night, and then there was also a 5K that they would do on Saturday, kind of split it up a little bit to help spread out those activities and all that traffic and parking.
I think sometimes people forget, where it's fun for us to go to the city, to Erie, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, wherever. That's a fun, weekend thing, right?
Right.
But the opposite happens too, where people from Pittsburgh, Erie, Cleveland, Buffalo say, it's time to escape. We want to kind of calm down a little bit. Where can we go to relax?
Exactly.
And they're coming here.
Absolutely.
A lot.
Yes. And I think that's something that we definitely experienced during the pandemic. And I think we made great impressions. And so we'll only see more and more of that. Yeah. As people kind of seek out what's different, get out of town, get out of the city, maybe drive a couple hours. Where can we go? What can we do?
And that's why it's so important. And when we're talking to chamber directors, when you're on from the Oil Region Alliance and others, it's so important for the business community and the non-business community to welcome these folks and to have a great, first impression and second impression. Because a lot of times people come and eat at a place and they really like it. So they go home, and sometimes, maybe this time of year, if they're not riding the train or riding their, on the bike trail or kayaking, they're thinking, let's make a quick trip. We'll have lunch. We'll do something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
spend the night.
Add it all, and build it up. Or this is the place that you want to stop when you're doing a longer trip, especially people traveling for the holidays. Like, well, let's spend the night here, and then we'll go on to the next thing, or make a long weekend out of it. Yeah, and I hear that a lot from the people who are in from out of town. People are always pleasantly surprised how nice everybody is here, how genuinely friendly, helpful. People smile at you, they speak to you on the sidewalk. The reverse of that is that then when you're from here, you live here, and you go somewhere else, and you're like, hi, walking down the street, people look at you a little like, what's your problem? But it is a very friendly community and welcoming to guests and visitors. And I think the more we get used to knowing we're a community that has a lot of activities, we have a lot of guests, we have a lot of visitors, the easier it is for us to just be more welcoming, accommodating, informative if you need to.
That's right. It shouldn't be surprising when you hear the Tarbell teas are sold out.
Yeah. And the November one is. We've got a couple spots left in December if you're interested. And so that's your opportunity to see the Christmas tree and get in there and kind of, feel festive at the Tarbell House for sure.
All right. And they can contact Oil Region Alliance for tickets?
Yes. Okay. 814-677-3152. And there's also information on the Facebook page for the Tarbell House. So if that or when that December tea does sell out, we'll have that up there so you know. But call soon and get your tickets.
All right. Well, what are some things you're working on?
So things not so much that I am working on, but involved in with the ORA. We have our annual outdoor recreation business plan contest, something that's been going on in throughout the summer. Finalists were narrowed down in October. They just gave their presentations to the judges on Tuesday, and we are going to announce those two winners, a first place $10,000 prize and a second place $5,000 prize on Friday, December 2nd at 7:15 in Oil City in Town Square as part of Oil City's Christmas Past. So the tree lighting, Santa will be there to give out these checks. We're also doing a couple giveaways for people who attend the event itself, attend the winner announcement. They can sign up for a drawing of, I think there's gift certificate for oars, the kayak rental, and also maybe working on trying to give away a child's bike or gift certificate for a child's bike from a local bike shop. So there's some extra incentives there for you to attend and try and win those prizes. But you'll get to see who out of those top 4 business plans wins the big money and will kind of become one of the next, hopefully, big movers and shakers in outdoor recreation in the oil region. So
that's great.
It's very exciting.
Well, since I didn't do a presentation, I guess that means my
you're not going to win this year, but maybe next year. Okay. And that prize money is funded through Venango County Act 13 money. So your
try again next year.
Fuels. So try again next year. Well, if you have a business idea, or there's something you can either expand on, so you don't have to start a new business, but expand an existing business that has to do with outdoor recreation in ways that it improves visitor experience and locals' experience.
It's what it is. It's a like a roadkill food processing machine. So if you're on the bike trail and you come across something, scoop it up.
Those little orange salamanders.
Scoop it up, bring it to me, put it in the machine, and it comes out like a sausage thing that you can eat and then continue right on your way. It cleans up the trails. And
really wish the camera were on you while you're explaining.
I'm just explaining
so earnestly describing your event. Yeah. So next year, keep an ear out for when we do call for entries next year, and you can get involved in that.
All right, thanks.
There's definitely some good ideas out there and good models, and it's also just helpful for people to see how much outdoor recreation contributes to our local economy and all the different ways we can keep it going.
Well, and how many times have you said to somebody, or somebody says to you, I have this idea, and they tell you and say, that's a great idea, why don't you do something about it? Money or work or whatever.
Right.
Well, you enter a contest like this, that's some good cash to get started on.
Yes, and this is the biggest prize I think they've ever had. They've increased the prize money And everything else has gotten more expensive. So why not increase the prize money so it goes a little further? I think we also probably need to do something with, like you're saying, people have ideas, but they have day jobs or other responsibilities. So it's not that they want to do that job, but it's something we would like to see happen. And I know we talk about that in terms of outfitters and, like bike and kayak rental and stuff like that. Like we can use more of that in the region. So there's another side to it where if you are looking to start a business in the oil region and you need some ideas, there's a long list of stuff we would like to see happening here that we don't have right now.
Who can somebody call to just have a conversation? Because I know there's a lot of times somebody will say, here's my idea. And you go, hey, that's great. 5 other people also have that idea. Oh, okay. I mean, is there a place, a soundboard that somebody can kind of bounce ideas off of?
They can always give us a call at the ORA or send us a Facebook message, that type of thing. Things that are really outdoor recreation specific would be Kim Harris. Things that are more just tourism in general, I could take. If you're looking for help in starting a business, we have that too. And then there's small business development centers locally and SCORE offices and folks like Kathy Bailey at Oil City Main Street and your local chambers. Those are all good places to get started if that's kind of something you're interested in.
Yeah, excellent. Because you hate for somebody to invest a lot of time into a business plan if something already is out there.
Yeah, so there's a little, do your research. But yeah, chambers are a great place to start too, and all those kind of business directories. See who's doing what already in your community.
You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Emily Altomare with us here this morning from the Oil Region Alliance. Coming into the end of the year. Can you believe that?
It's weird because then things that happen like Easter feels like a long time ago. And I had a conversation the other day where I thought it was like a year and a half ago. I was like, no, it was just April. I'm like, oh, okay. I think everybody has had that experience through the pandemic. Time is just different now. It doesn't feel the same, but it's both like, I can't believe it's mid-November. And then also, I feel like we're ready to wrap up 2022. Let's try again.
Yeah. Is there a lot of planning for the new year over the next couple weeks, or is it pretty much things have been plotted out? And
no, I think things like the guide, getting that, because that's a big job. So then it becomes more of like, okay, let's talk about memberships for next year. Let's talk about, kind of goals and objectives. We do an annual project and program summary that comes out in February. So that's when we really start, thinking about what we want to do, and we've got some ideas for events coming up for next year, just the ORA specifically, but then hearing about what other community amenities are looking forward to doing, and there's some really good ideas out there, so we've got some exciting things on the horizon.
Is this a good time for folks to consider membership possibilities or ways to get involved or partner with the Oil Region Alliance?
Yes, it's always a good time. But we are just now starting our 2023 membership drive. So that information is updated on oilregion.org. There's a form you can download and fill in. There's both components for if you want to support the ORA itself, the Oil Region Alliance. You can also just directly contribute to the Oil Region National Heritage Area. And they're very intertwined, but there are a few differences in those memberships. But basically, do you want to support the organization itself or the concept of the National Heritage Area? So you can get on the website and find out more about that. If you're interested in taking part in any of our committees, there's information about that on the website. You can reach out to us. We do our annual meeting in September, so we just got a new board of directors, but you can join a committee at any time, and serving on a committee is what makes you eligible to serve on the board. So, there's ways to get involved. And then we don't have a ton of volunteer requirements because we don't have a lot of events, but we're kind of getting back into a groove of having more, so then we will have more need for individuals to volunteer at different things. So that'll be something to kind of, again, keep an eye on the Facebook page and listen out for, calls for volunteers for specific projects or activities.
Okay. And it's really a great staff. There's a lot that everybody sort of covers.
Yes. So there's John Phillips, our president and CEO, talks about the 4 legs of the stool. So it's tourism, we're the Venango County designated marketing organization. The heritage component, so that's keeping the story of the birthplace of the oil industry alive and interpreting that in a multitude of ways. It's not just, Edwin Drake's work. It's also talking about the stories that maybe have been left out in the past, like all those diversity stories of women and Native Americans and African Americans, and really like sharing a fuller story, a more complete history than what has typically been covered historically in the past. Economic development is huge. There's a ton going on with that in terms of brownfield reclamation. Just coming up on Saturday, if you like to watch tires being removed, you can come see about 350 tires being removed from the former Kraft property, Dahlstrom Junkyard in Oil City. That's taking place. That's a step towards, a cleaner oil city that then becomes a more profitable oil city, hopefully with the sense of being able to then reuse that land, that cleaning it up both physically and environmentally, and then having it like back on the tax rolls in some way. So economic development is huge, and then the outdoor recreation component, which and they all fit together in different ways. People come for the history, but they're doing the outdoor recreation, or they are tourists, and then you've got people who want to invest in a historic community because of the oil story, but that's why they want to build their business here. So there's a lot of interconnectivity there, and it's nice that we have the staff that we have, and everyone's working together in all those different directions, but with those four main focuses.
All right. They're taking the tires away?
Yes.
Okay.
They're taking the tires away. They're not putting tires
in. No.
And they're not building 350 tire swings.
Usually around here, it's like, okay, throw them in the water. Or, hey, bury them in the backyard.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we're not doing.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
They're taking the tires. I mean, and this is not a call for bring your tires to get rid of, but that'll just be an interesting little thing to witness, that cleanup. And I think folks that are local have seen a real difference in what's going on there already. So.
Well, as you mentioned, though, all the benefits of cleaning up sites like that and what it can do, and just revitalizing an area of town or a community, or allow somebody else to come in and say, now we want to invest in this property.
Yes. And it's property, like the whole thing about brownfields is not just anyone can purchase that and clean it up. It takes, special funding, working with DEP, EPA. So that's where organizations like ours step in and are able to do that intermediate work to take something that would be not safe or potentially not safe and turn it into something that is good to go, that anybody can use for practically any purpose.
Do you identify these areas, or would the business contact the Alliance and say, could you help us work with whoever owns the land, because we want to take it over, we want to invest or develop it?
So there's
a lot to it.
Assessments that have been and it's that is all above my pay grade.
Okay.
But it's like they've been deemed those sites by the government. We've gotten grants at the ORA to further assess and kind of map out and identify locations that need to be addressed, and that's kind of a chicken or the egg situation. Yeah. I'm not sure. And maybe it's a little bit of both, but I'm not sure about who does the initial thing, but it is a governmental factor.
The point is, and I was just thinking about this, really, the day-to-day must be interesting. It's because every day would be a little different. And some days maybe the topic of conversation is more along those lines. Another day, tourism might be the big conversation. I mean, it's got to be great.
It's everything from, like hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line from EPA, and then it's, does the elf costume fit for the Christmas events, and for giving away the outdoor rec money. Yeah, and it's everything in between. So it's crazy. And also a lot of talk about what are we going to have for lunch that day.
There you go. A lot of planning, though. A lot of planning, a lot of meetings, not just internally, but with other outside entities.
And that's another thing John likes to talk about, the idea of, about 80 members, 12-member board, staff of 12, Then with committees, at any given time, you've got 100 or so people kind of locally boots on the ground involved in what's going on. And then when you think about each committee that they're involved with, even just the 12 state heritage areas that we work with, then the other 54 national heritage areas. I'm in calls and talks and meetings with every county in the state of Pennsylvania for tourism stuff. We've got Erie to Pittsburgh Trail. That's 12 counties there, something, or maybe it's 7 counties. So, the whole height of the state of Pennsylvania working together about, trails, and that's just one trail. Then there's, all the other trails. It's a lot of moving parts and a lot of working together and figuring things out.
Well, if folks have questions for you, Emily, how can they find you?
They can always email me directly at ealtomare@oilregion.org. You can go on oilregion.org and find my email address and the phone number, 814-677-3152. You can find us on Facebook. And then special interests like the Tarbell House and Coal Oil Johnny have their own Facebook pages too. We are on Instagram a little bit. You can check out our Adoptable Oil Region pets photos there and some other cool shots of the region. It's so scenic and beautiful. There's all kinds of stuff out there.
With 20 seconds, I'll ask you real quick. What are you thankful for?
So you gotta go with the big ones, health and family and friends and I'm stealing Ashley's answer, but it's true. Like the community, just the general, safe, happy, calm, secure, good things.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too.